Hello and welcome to the lecture series on Human Resource Management. I am Dr. Kamakshi Malik, faculty in the Center for Distance and Online Education, Chitkara University, Punjab campus. So friends, we have learnt that human resource management has various functions starting from the recruitment and selection, training and development and managing the compensation of its employees. So today we are going to learn about executive compensation. So the company executives, they make important strategic decisions, they set the company goals and coordinate the organizational operations. People in these leadership positions, they actually have a lot of experience and skills that they have gathered in their tenure, maybe from their past experiences or experiences in their current organization, in their respective industries. And in exchange for their expertise, the companies compensate them with valuable compensation packages. These executive compensation plans are an important and very integral part of the company budget and policy. So, what we are going to learn today is number one, what is executive compensation? What are the objectives of executive compensation? The process of executive compensation and what are the various types of executive compensation along with the factors that affect executive compensation. So, let us first of all understand what is executive compensation. Well, executive compensation, which is also known as the executive pay, is a plan that combines the salary, the benefits and the bonuses that a company offers to its executives or other top management positions in a company in return for their work. So, it often helps drive performance and may be contingent on meeting certain objectives. According to Robert W. Kolb, executive compensation may be defined as the total reward provided by the firms to the top level executives in the corporations, such as the Chief Executive Officer, that is the CEO, Chief Operating Officer, COO, Chief Financial Officer and a handful of other executives who occupy the very highest level of management. So, this is a popular concept of corporate governance that is curated for senior management and it is a kind of compensation which is made for the top executives for their work. So, if a company has a better package for the board members, they will definitely perform vigorously, more effectively and efficiently. So, the origin of the executive compensation plan, it dates back to 1936 in the United States, and executive pay is a crucial factor that drives the company's performance, and in addition the business strategies are also influenced similarly. So, the process of executive pay works akin to employee compensation, yet it differs. So, you would be asking as to how is employee compensation different from executive compensation. So, though some components of both the compensations would be same, but yet how we reach out to each one of them, the approach is different because the level of experience, the level of skills, the level of expertise in a normal employee and in an executive, these all are different. So, that is why we say that the approach to deciding on the compensation of an employee and the executive are different. So, the format for documenting the salary and benefits of senior employees is different. It is customized and separate contract. Since they hold extreme knowledge and skills, the pay cannot be discussed unlike it is done for other employees. So, we can say that when we are talking of employee compensation, it is a more transparent thing, but when it comes to executive compensation, the pay cannot be openly discussed, because the people at executive positions, they bring in lot of knowledge and lot of skills and experience with them. Now, coming to the types of executive compensation. So, there are different types of executive compensation plans that are available for the executives at each level. So, these executive compensation plans can be broadly of three types. First is the short term, the medium term, and lastly the long term compensations. So, let us understand each one of them. Simply, the short term pay includes the immediate benefits like the paid expenses or bonuses. So, these are short term. Then comes the medium term compensation, which depends on the company's performance, like if the firm performs well, more benefits will be delivered to the senior executives and vice versa. In contrast, the long term pay, it includes stock options or performance shares, but this compensation is only visible in the long term, as the value of stock is subject to time. So, if your organization is giving you some stocks, they are going to give advantage only in the long term and not in the short term or the medium term. So, these are the three types of executive compensations. So, executive compensation plans may include the financial elements and the non-financial perks, which employers they can categorize in different ways. For instance, a salary is a part of what employers call the fixed compensation, because it does not change. But the packages that the executives are getting, they might include variable compensation like incentives and bonuses, which are only paid if the company reaches a certain goal. So, that is why it is called variable and it is not fixed. So, that means the executive compensation will have financial as well as non-financial elements. At the same time, it will have a certain fixed amount, and there will be second portion that would be variable depending on the goals or the terms and conditions that the organization offers to the executives. Now, how does an organization plan its executive compensation? That means there must be some process that the organization follows in deciding on the executive compensation. So, let us understand as to what is the process of forming an executive compensation plan. So, the process of setting executive compensation, it involves several steps, and what do each step ensure? It ensures fairness, alignment with organizational goals, and at the same time, and most importantly, the competitive market positioning, that is how you position yourself in the market. So, here is an overview of the entire process of developing an executive compensation plan. First and foremost, the first step in the process is job analysis and evaluation. So, in job analysis, we actually collect and assemble information regarding a job, right. So, what are the duties and responsibilities that an executive is supposed to be doing or performing, and with the help of that particular analysis or information that we have gathered, we generally make two types of documents. First is the job description and the second is the job specification. So, whereby job description will give you what are the duties and responsibilities that the executive would be performing. The job specification will tell us that what skills, what qualification, what expertise is required in the person in that particular role. And then is the job evaluation, whereby two similar jobs are evaluated or they are calculated or they are assessed, they are evaluated and their worth is described, that what is the worth of this particular job. That is, how much compensation a person coming at this position would be given. So, when you conduct a thorough analysis of the executive role, you decide on the responsibilities and the performance expectations in this first step. You evaluate the job's complexity, impact and the market value. So, this is the first step on deciding on the executive compensation. The second step would be to conduct a market research and benchmarking. So, in this step you compare the executive compensation with similar roles in peer organizations. So, say in IT industry you just gather information as to what your peer organizations are offering to their executives at the similar role. So, you can use industry surveys, compensation databases and even consulting firms to gather the market data. And benchmarking is something that we assess the various organizations within your industry and we benchmark some particular industry. For example, in IT industry you can benchmark Infosys. So, you see what Infosys is offering, what they are doing. So, in comparison to Infosys, where do you stand, what can you offer, right? That is what we mean by benchmarking. So, in this step we actually gather data and information from the market. The next step is setting the salary ranges and pay grades. So, now once you have collected the data, you can now easily define the salary ranges based on the market data, organizational size of course and the industry you are in. So, every industry would have separate norms, separate salary ranges and pay grades. So, you can establish your own pay grades to categorize the executive roles. The next step is formulating the compensation structure. So, here in this step you will decide on the mix of salary, the bonuses, the stock options and other benefits that we just learnt about. So, as I said, there can be two components, one can be the fixed salary and the other can be the variable proportion depending upon the performance of the executive, or it can be a combination of financial and non-financial bonuses. So, you can align the compensation components with the organizational strategy and the performance metrics. So, that is again very important that whenever you are deciding on the compensation structure, please keep in mind the organizational goals and objectives. What is the organization's strategy at the moment? And based on that strategy, based on those goals and objectives of the organization, you must align your compensation components. Moving further, the next step is performance metrics and goals. So, at this step you must set clear performance metrics which are tied to the strategic objectives of the organization. So, you can define the short term as well as the long term goals, for example, the revenue growth, the profitability, the shareholder returns, etc. Now, once you have done all this, now it is time to take the approval from the board and further communication. You can present the compensation proposals to the board of directors for their approval, and you must also communicate the rationale or the reason behind this particular compensation decisions to your other stakeholders also. After this, the next step is regular review and adjustment. So, it is very important that you continuously assess your executive performance against the goals that have been set to ensure that whether your executives are performing according to the goals, according to what they have been told to do so or not. So, if you do not do so, if you are not continuously assessing or reviewing their performance against the goals that have been set by the organization, so if you are not doing this, so the executive performance might not be in sync with the goals that they have to achieve. and you must adjust the compensation based on these evaluations of the performance as well as the market trends. So, friends, please remember that executive compensation must balance the competitiveness, the performance alignment and organizational sustainability. Now, why we say organizational sustainability? Because at times currently or at the moment we might decide on more of compensation or more of financial portion or fixed portion. But over the period of time or gradually, if the organization is not that much profitable or is running into losses, at that time you might not be able to give that much of high fixed salary to your executive. So, anything that you design, it must be sustainable, that is very important. So, it is again essential to consider both the financial as well as the non-financial goals when designing the compensation packages. So, you can keep the financial and the non-financial, a balance between both these elements of the compensation package can be done. Next comes the objectives of executive compensation, that is, what are the functions that are performed by an executive compensation. So, the first one is to match the managerial interest with organizational interest. So, as an executive, do both these match or not? So, the main motive of linking a considerable part of compensation package of the executives with the organizational performance is to link their personal interest with the organizational interest. So, if my personal interests do not match or are not sync or not aligned with the organization's interest, then whatever I might be performing will not ultimately help my organization to succeed. So, that is very important and it should be done. So, that is the first objective of any executive compensation. The second one is, of course, to acquire best executives. So, every company desires for the most talented executives or the best in class managers or executives for themselves. And the reason why the companies are ready to pay higher packages to their senior managers is the increasing competition in the market. So, we all know that this is a hyper competitive era that we are living in, and at times it is very difficult to find talented good people. And when I say or specifically when we are talking of executives, the entire decision making for the organization depends on their skills, their expertise. So, one wrong decision can lead an organization from riches to rags, right. So, it is very important to acquire the best executives, and giving a good compensation is one of the measures how you can acquire best talent. So, by increasing executive compensation, organizations not only attract talented and competent managers, but they also retain them for a longer duration. So, apart from attracting, you are also retaining your current existing executives by giving higher or better compensations. But when you give low or unsatisfactory compensation packages, what will happen is that your rival companies may lure them, especially the skilled managers, by offering higher salary packages. So, this is called as poaching. So, this can also happen. So, you must ensure that you are giving good executive compensation to your people in the top management. The next objective is to increase employee participation, commitment and motivation. So, the remuneration package of executives, it aims at motivating them to take up their responsibility seriously, perform effectively and work in the interest of the organization for a long term. So, definitely the executives are performing a high responsibility job, and the future of the organization entirely depends upon the decision making of the executives, like I just said. So, one wrong decision can mar the image of the organization, and one good decision can make it highly successful. So, by giving good remuneration packages, you are actually motivating them, and you are valuing their commitment and their participation in the organization. The next objective is to encourage managerial efficiency. So, this managerial commission of the executives is decided on the basis of the net profit that an organization earns, and is generally expressed in the financial records of the company. And this component of the compensation package improves the competency levels of the managers. The next objective is to ensure the overall financial security. So, as I said, that the decisions that are taken by the top management or the executives are not only difficult, but are also very risky, and the cost of this risk is paid not only by the organization, but also by the individual executives. So, a wrong decision will cost not only the organization, but the executive himself or herself. So, thus organizations must provide a financial security to their executives within the compensation package to inspire them to take calculated risks while making the decisions, so that they are not shied away from taking difficult decisions or risky decisions. So, when they know that there is some kind of a financial security for them, even if their decision is not the right one, so I think they will be more upcoming and more innovative, or more into taking the decision at the right time. The next one is to encourage progressive learning. So, we all know that the environment of an organization, or even the technological environment, is changing at a very fast pace, and this is something that is continuously happening. So, executives also should be able to adjust themselves with the changing requirement of the organization. So, today the jobs are not the same as they were, maybe I will not say 10 years, but they are not the same even 5 years down the lane. And in coming times, with the advent of AI, the kind of jobs or the type of jobs, or the way we are performing our jobs is going to change drastically, and that holds true for the executives also. And for this, they need to develop their knowledge, their skills, their competencies and abilities. But again, improving their knowledge and keeping it up to date as per the environment changes can help them to identify and face the upcoming challenges, but again, at times it would need some extra money, extra time, extra effort. So, the compensations that the organization offers must encourage this kind of a learning for their executives. So, what are the components of executive compensation? So, there are different types of the compensation elements. For example, we will be discussing about 6 components of executive compensation, and these components are salary. Second one is the short term incentives. The third is the long term incentives. Fourth is the guaranteed severance package. Fifth one is the perquisites, which is often known as the perks that are offered to the executives. And of course, there is a component called the insurance. So, friends, we will be discussing this in the next part of the lecture. So, let me give you a quick recap as to what we did today. So, we have started with learning about what is executive compensation, And why is executive compensation so important? So, as I just said that these are the people who come with a lot of experience, with lot of knowledge, skills, competencies. So, it is for the organization to retain these people and at the same time attract talented people, right. So, what are the types of executive compensation plans? So, they can be short term, medium term and long term, and then we also learned as to what is the process of deciding a good executive compensation plan. So, after this we will be learning about what are the various types of, or what are the various components of the executive compensation. So, we will continue. Thank you.